All right, this week in OT, I have an assistant. So this is my son, and he's going to help me out today. So we are going to do a little project, not a craft, but it's a little competition project. So I needed somebody to challenge. I'm going to challenge my son here, and we're going to use our hands a little bit to practice a few different skills, and then have a little fun after. So the materials that you'll need for this activity, you're going to need 2 containers of some kind. I had milk jugs. They had screw-on caps, that's why I picked them. And they have handles, so we're going to be tying some string to these handles. I thought these might be easy to do. If you don't have something like this at home, you could find something else. I actually saw this online, and the person used a box, and they punched a hole in the box, tied a string to the box to do the activity instead. And they put something inside the box to provide some weight. We're going to do it a little differently. I decided to use milk jugs instead because I wanted to do a little bit of pouring today. So you're going to need your milk jugs, 2 of them if you have them. You are going to need some water and some containers to pour the water out of. So it is a little easier to pour out of containers that have a spout, or containers like this water bottle that has a small spout. So it's a little easier to pour out of this into another container. So those are the 2 that I chose. You could use a regular glass to do that too. It's a little harder to do that. If you pour water out of that, you might want to do that in the sink. That way if you spill, it catches that. So you're going to need some water and some things to pour out of. You are going to need some scissors and some tape and 2 toilet paper tubes, all right, and some string or some yarn. I had some yarn, so we're going to use that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to get some of these things out of the way. What we are going to do first is do some pouring. And pouring is kind of a tricky skill, so it's good practice for our eyes and hands to work together. And so we'll try that. I got a little tray here just in case we spill any. All right, so I'd like to see if you can pour this water into that jug, and you might have to work kind of slowly. We'll see. So if you have to get up, you can do that too, but nice and slow and steady. Try to pour that carefully into there. Yep, all of it. Go for it. Nice and slow and steady. So it's kind of easier to pour with something that has a spout on it. So there you go. And really what you want to do is make sure that with both the jugs that you get about the same amount of water in each of them, okay? So that's one. All right, I want you to take one of the covers and go ahead and put that on and screw the cover all the way on nice and tight, okay? So when you're screwing covers on or taking them off, even when you're pouring, your helper hand steadies the object. So you notice that he took the bottle and held it with his helper hand, and he took his dominant hand to do the work. So these are 2-handed tasks. All right, so let's have you do that again. This time I want you to pour out of this smaller bottle. Let's try that. I've got about the same amount of water in each. So nice and slow and steady. There you go. Just holding it with his helper hand, using his dominant hand to do the pouring. Nice and slow and steady. You can do it over a tray like this. You can do it in the sink if you are afraid that you might spill a little more. That's okay. And if you spill, that's fine. Just keep working at it. You know, a little will get in at a time. Just make sure you have about the same amount of water in both of the jugs, okay? So go ahead and put that cover on there. Nice and tight. So the next step, we are going to need some string. What we're gonna do with these is we are gonna have a little race, okay? So we're gonna go across the room and we're gonna tie some string to these bottles. We're gonna tie the other end of the string to the little tubes, and we are going to try to roll up the tubes, and that will coil up the string, and it will make the bottle come to us, and we'll see who can do that the fastest and win that little race, okay? So that's what we're doing with the string. So what we're gonna need to do with that is we're gonna have to go across the room here. I think probably we'll measure our string right across the room and maybe add a little extra, and then we will cut them and tie them on, all right? All right, so why don't you go around that side over there? We're gonna unravel the string a little bit here, go all the way across the rug here, and I think I'll probably add a little extra. So got like all the way across the room, and then I'm gonna kind of grab it and maybe add like an extra arm length, about that much, okay? All right, so why don't you come on over here, you can drop that. You can drop it. grab those scissors right there and cut the string right there, please. There you go. All right, I'm going to do that again. All right, so let's take that. Bingo. All right, so we got our strings. All right, let's come back to our tray. Okay, come on over and sit. Okay, so a little tricky. All right, we're going to take one of these each. What we're going to do is try to tie this around the tube, okay? So, oh, you already have one. All right, here's a string for you. I'm going to grab the other one. Here we go. All right, so get these out of the way so you can see. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of wrap the string around the tube, okay? It's a little tricky because it's kind of thin, right? So to make a knot, what we're going to do, you kind of, just like you start tying your shoes, right? We're going to kind of cross them over like this and make an X. We're going to go over and under and through the hole that we made. Grab those two sides, pull them tight. Not so tight that it crushes the tube, but nice and tight. And we're going to kind of do that again, okay? Sometimes you have to spin it a little bit. Another little X. Over and under and through. So we're kind of making the same little knot 2 times. Kind of have those with our fingertips. Pull it nice and tight. There you go. Perfect. Now, this has a tendency to slide a little bit, so we're going to use our tape. Okay? And add a little tape to that. If your child can use the tape dispenser by themselves. Oh, look at that. Right at the end of the tape. And we're going to just tape that on there just a little bit, just so it won't slide off. Okay? Perfect. Great. Okay, now, why don't you reel in the other end of your string, okay? Get all the way to the other end. Find the other end. This time we're going to tie a knot onto the handle, okay? Onto the handle of the jug. So we're going to tie the same kind of knot. All right, we're going to just loop it around there. Going to make like a little X. Over and under and through. Pull it tight. There you go. And then one more time. Little X over, under, and through. Grab that little end. Pull it tight with 2 hands. There we go. Perfect. So now it's right on there. Okay. Now let's get ourselves in position and we'll try this little race out. Okay, we're all set up now, so we're going to sit on the floor next to each other here, and the name of the game is we want to roll these tubes up as fast as we can, and that will start to pull the bottle across the floor. And the first one to get the bottle all the way to yourself wins the game, and you can kind of do that a few times, make a little race out of it, challenge somebody at home, and see who's the fastest, okay? So, because that is a little tricky with the toilet paper tube. Be a little easier with the paper towel tube. Might be a little bigger. But we'll see. I bet it'll work fine. And look, we even have a little extra string here, so we'll have to roll for a little bit before that bottle even starts to move. Okay. Are you ready? All right, why don't you count us down and say ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go.
I'm using 2 hands and I'm just twisting, 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 twisting. Oh boy, I think the boy's got me. Those forearms hurt. And he beat me. Look at that. Not by much, but he beat me. All right. Rematch? All right, rematch. Let's bring these over across here. Make sure they're about the same level. You can kind of stick your fingers in the end of the tube. And back up, it'll roll right out. Maybe pull off the last little bit. Make sure it's all the way off there, no cheating. Okay, I'm gonna get you this time. Okay, you tell me when you're ready and I'll count us down this time. You ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Twist, twist, twist. I don't know, he's kind of fast. Ooh, those muscles start to get tired. He beat me again. Well, I guess youth beats age. All right, that was pretty fun. Wow, those muscles really got a workout. So, have some fun with that this week. Challenge some people at home. Maybe make it more challenging. You could make the string super long. You could make it shorter if you have to. and have fun with that this week.